All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chid from Doing It Evil Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time is to introduce another episode of Eagle Eye, my transfer rumor show. It's been a minute since I've done this. Intentionally wanted to leave it a while just because I'm sick of saying the same thing to you guys. And supposedly we're about to complete the Socrates deal. And to be honest, I think that one will get over the line. Who knows what the fuck is holding that up? I imagine probably Monday, sometime, probably Thursday, Monday, I expect that deal to be confirmed. So I'm not really going to talk about a lot about that deal. I'm going to talk about a bit of a concerning deal, as you probably gathered by my title. Marouane Fellaini. Fucking hell. I can't believe we're even considering it. I think that the idea that we're even looking at Marouane Fellaini tells me that the stories around our supposed £50 million budget look pretty spot on, to be honest. And I think, I mean, I wouldn't expect necessarily you guys to do this, but I'm really starting to rethink some of my frustrations, not all of them, not even close to all of them, but some of my frustrations to Arsene Wenger, because it's very clear to me that he was always restricted with money. Lee's been a really big proponent of trying to get that message out there, of saying, listen, we ain't even close to paying back. We're not close to a paid back all that money for that stadium yet. And the club is clearly ran in such a way where they're still paying something off because they seem so reluctant spending money. I mean, quite frankly, if I was a Burnley fan and I heard that we only have 50 million, I'd be a bit disappointed. Not to talk of Arsenal. I know we're not in the Champions League anymore, but it just feels like such a low sum of money. And you can see by the type of targets we're being linked with that we are clearly nickel and diamond. You know, instead of going for your likes of your Koulibalys and people who will make a big impact in the team, you know, you're going for 3 34-year-olds who, all right, don't get it twisted, guys. I know you'll probably end up being decent at least for a year. You'll be a decent and someone like Hector can learn from. I get that, but it just feels like we're shopping a little bit in Iceland. UK people only get this. We're shopping in Iceland, and we're looking at Marks and Spencer's thinking, fuck, really? Ain't that much more. Can't we just spend a little bit more and get a sandwich from there? You know what I mean? Oh, fuck's sake. Anyway, Marouane Fellaini, Manchester United central midfielder, a player who I thought was all right playing for Everton. I ain't going to front people. I ain't going to be one of these guys who tell you some shit and lie the next minute. I was one of them guys who, when Man United initially signed Fellaini, I didn't understand why Arsenal didn't put up more of a fight. Because I was still stupidly under this idea that Marouane Fellaini is a central midfielder who will give you some bite and will be defensively very good. And bear in mind, this was during a time where I still had a little bit of faith in Wenger. And I thought to myself, you know what, maybe Wenger could get a little more actual football from him. And since then, we've seen Fellaini under, I think we saw him under Moyes, but we definitely saw him under LVG. And we've seen him under Jose being used to a certain effect. I wouldn't necessarily say it's football, though. I don't know. I don't rate him. I don't like him. I don't want him anywhere near Arsenal. And I feel like if we were to bring him in, we wouldn't get an actual defensive midfielder. Between him and Xhaka, no. I can't see us getting a defensive midfielder on top of that. I feel that that's what we need. I'm all for adding power to the team. I'm all for adding a different type of threat to the team. I get that. But they have to be useful to the cause. Our biggest problem last season was not scoring goals. So having a threat that scores goals in the other end is not necessarily our problem. Our problem is defensively. And I'm not seeing Marouane Fellaini contribute defensively to United. I'm not. I must admit, There are others that watch United more closely than me. Friends of the show that watch United more closely than me. That may even be that may disagree with the things that I'm saying. But in my personal opinion, I want Fellaini nowhere near this side. I don't give a fuck if he's free. Nowhere near. And on top of all that shit, apparently he's asking for 120 million. It's like, come on, dude. 120 million? Really? So for me, no thanks. Marouane Fellaini, no thank you. Next up is Lucas Torreira, who is a 22-year-old central defensive midfielder from Sampdoria. So he plays in Italy, only 5'6" though, so he's not very big. But then again, Kante ain't the biggest, and you guys know. I mean, not get into my Kante rant. You guys know how much I wanted Kante. To me, I think this is more like the signing that I would expect Arsenal to go for. Someone who's young, someone who's played at a top level. I know some people don't really rate the Italian league, and to be honest, I understand that. But to me, I feel like this is the type of player that we should be going for. First of all, an actual defensive midfielder, first and foremost. And second of all, someone who's played for, all right, they're not Juventus, they're not AC Milan or Inter, they're in Serie A. I'll take that. Someone that's going to play in the World Cup too, so I'll have an opportunity to look closely at him. And to be honest, if I'm Arsenal, I'm moving quickly because he has a release clause that isn't particularly big for this day and age, not in general. I love 22 million. I'm going to twist it. But I believe his release clause is 25 million euros, which is about 21.5 million pounds. It's not crazy money. You know, that I would say if you want to buy a quality defensive midfielder, that's the sort of dough you got to be paying. When you really take stock of it and think, Xhaka cost 35 million. You got fucking 21 million to spend on a Uruguayan actual defensive midfielder. You know, scored 4 goals as well. People who've watched him closely than I have, Tommy's a very good player. There's a very good shot on him. Very combative, loves a tackle. All this is the type of shit that gets me excited. This is the type of shit that gets me hard, you know? That's what I want. I want Arsenal to buy players that are going to give us some bite and some defensive cover. Because it's not just about central defenders. Yeah, we can buy 4 or 5. Ultimately, if you don't have a defensive midfielder, someone who can cover that area a little bit, help the defenders out, we're still going to be leaking goals. So for one, I'm excited, particularly because earlier today he actually followed Arsenal and Mesut Ozil, which was interesting. So I'm hoping that we capitalise and follow through. But at the moment, we're being linked with the whole world. So who knows what is true and what isn't. But defensive midfielder, that's the type of shit that's getting me excited. So let's see. We'll see what happens. Come on, Arsenal, sign somebody for fuck's sake. And I'm going to butcher this name, and I'm under a lot of pressure to get this name correct because I know I've got a lot of friends who are either Greek or who are Turkish and maybe listen to this and want to watch me try and butcher this name. But Kagala Sonoku, I hope I've said that correctly, the Turkish defense centre back. He plays in the German league. 22 years old. Apparently, we've got a thing about 22-year-olds at the moment. Is someone else that we are apparently in talks with, allegedly. Concrete talks was the headline that popped up in my phone. So that's good. With the assumption that's true, because you never know with Arsenal. But I do think we do need to bring in two centre backs. What I am very curious about is, to me, that tells me it's very obvious that at least 2 centre backs would be leaving Arsenal. I think Mustafi is a given, but I'd be very curious to know who leaves off the back of that. Me personally, I'm going to tell you tomorrow who I would let go. Now, I've done a chopping block with Mustafi, so you know I cut him loose. Tomorrow's one might surprise you guys. Stay tuned on that one. I'm going to do a chopping block tomorrow. As you guys know, I do a chopping block every Sunday, so stay tuned tomorrow to see who I would pick as someone I'd let go. I've already recorded it, so it's just going to drop tomorrow. And that's it, really, in terms of the stories at the moment, the concrete stories that are about. You guys let me know what you think. Am I overreacting to Fellaini? Because when I talked to Stel, who is a friend of the show, a Man United fan who occasionally appears on my channel, he's really excited. He's really gutted by the fact that Fellaini could leave. He really likes him, really rates him. Whereas another friend of mine, a personal friend of mine called Kenzo, he is over the he's over the moon. He can't wait for Fellaini to leave. The idea of Fellaini leaving excites him and gets his juices flowing. I suppose it's easy to really think that, especially when United have just signed fucking Fred. They could let Fellaini go and think, yep, talk about pressing the upgrade button and letting one of their biggest rivals collect their trash. I'm hoping Arsenal are not that stupid. I'm hoping just because he's free doesn't mean you should have it. That's all I'm going to say, Arsenal. Just because he's free doesn't mean we should have. I'd rather give Maitland-Niles a go there than go for Marouane Fellaini. And there was an argument that maybe we should let Maitland-Niles play there. You know, I think he, particularly towards the end of the season, I think he really started to prove himself in that position. So it'll be a shame for him if he's not given that shot. That being said, I still think we need a defensive midfielder, but there is an argument to be made. You guys let me know what you think down below. Also, if you like this video, crush, destroy, DDT the shit out of that like button. You guys know I appreciate it every time you guys do that. And also, please, 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 please drop my video a subscribe if you have not subscribed before. And also hit that notification bell. That's the best way of being kept up to date with my very, very popular video series, The Chopping Block. People seem to love that shit. I appreciate the love and the hate that I often get from those videos. So do stay tuned every Sunday for that. Also, from next week onwards, I'll be doing a lot of World Cup themed content. So just keep an eye on that. I'm going to do a little preview on Nigeria and England. So stay tuned on that too. So I'm going to be dropping videos left, right, and center on you lot. So stay tuned. All right, people, I'm out of here. I'm going to leave you to your Saturday evenings. Take care. Deuces.